The Little Round Red House. People explore the world for experience and knowledge. But sometimes the best experiences are right under their noses and they are unaware of it. Here is an experience of a little boy who explored his surroundings to find out a little red round house. On a cold, rainy and windy Saturday in October, a little boy was bored. He went down to the kitchen where his mother was reading the newspaper and he said, "Mom, I don't know what to do. I am bored. His mother looked up from her paper and smiled. "Why don't you draw a picture with your new crayons?" "I already drew 100 pictures," he said. "I am bored. Well, why don't you read one of your new library books?" she suggested. "I already read all of my books 1,000 times. I am bored, he said. "How about playing with your toys?" she said. "I really played with 1,000,000 toys. I am bored. Most of the time, the mothers don't like it when their children say they are bored. "I was never bored when I was your age," they say, though this can't be true, can it? The little boy's mother thought for a bit and then he said, "I remember one day when I was your age and I was bored. My mother, your grandmother, sent me out to search for the strangest little house. If you would like, I can tell you just what she told me to do." The little boy looked up. His mother was bored once. That was interesting. She said, "First you need to put on your raincoat and your hat and your scarf and your mittens and your boots. Then you need to go outside. And then you need to walk up the block and down the block and around the block to look for that little house." "What kind of little house?" the little boy asked. "It's a little round red house with no windows and no doors, a chimney on top and a star in the middle," she said. The little boy stared at her. "I never saw a house like that before. Where is it?" his mother said. "I can't tell you, but if you keep your ears open and your eyes open and you look hard, you should find it not too far from here. You won't even need to cross the street." "I will do it," he said. He bundled up in his raincoat and his hat, his scarf and his mittens and his boots too, and set out to find the little round red house with no windows and no doors, a chimney on top and a star in the middle. He walked down his long block all the way to the corner. He saw white houses and blue houses and yellow houses and green houses. Then he saw a red house. "There it is," he cried. But wait, the house was square, not round. It had a chimney, all right, but also lots and lots of windows. It had a door too. He couldn't tell if there was a star. The windows had curtains on the inside. "That can't be it," he said, and continued his march around the corner, up the long block and to the next corner. There were yellow houses and brown houses and many colored houses, but not one of them was a little round red house with no windows and no doors, a chimney on top and a star in the middle. As he was standing on the sidewalk feeling puzzled, the little white mail truck pulled up. The mail carrier poked his head out of the window and said, "Little boy, are you lost?" "Oh no," the little boy replied. "I live at Ivy Rock Lane, Bridgewater, New Jersey." "That's right around the corner," the mail carrier said. "No, you are not lost." The little boy asked, "Do you know where everyone lives around here?" "I am looking for a special house." The mail carrier said proudly, "Of course I do, little boy. That's my job." "What house do you want to find?" The little boy said. My mother sent me to find a little round red house with no windows and no doors, a chimney on top and a star in the middle. Little boy, the mail carrier said, I have been to every house in town, but I have never seen a house like that before. Are you sure your mother isn't pulling your leg? Oh no, little boy answered. My mother wouldn't tease me. She said she found the same house when she was just my age, so I know it's real. The mail carrier shook his head sorrowfully and said, Sorry, I can't help you, my friend. I have got to be getting on my way. It's time to deliver the mail. Waving goodbye, he drove off down the road. The little boy tromped around the next corner and down the block. Every house had windows and doors. Some were red, some had chimneys, but not one of them was a little round red house with no window and no doors, a chimney on top and a star in the middle. He stopped again to think and looked up to see a police car cruising down the street. It pulled up alongside him and a police officer popped her head out of the window. Little boy, are you lost? Oh no, little boy replied. I live at Ivy Rock Lane, Bridgewater, New Jersey. That's right, around the block, the police officer said. No, you are not lost. The little boy asked, Do you know where everyone lives around here? I am looking for a special house. I asked the mail carrier and he did not know where it was. The officer said, Little boy, I know this neighborhood like the back of my hand. I drive up these streets and down these streets every day, making sure things are safe around here. What house do you want to find? The little boy said, My mother sent me to find a little round red house with no windows and no doors, a chimney on top and a star in the middle. Little boy, the officer said, I have been past every house in this town, but I have never seen a house like that before. Are you sure that is what your mother said? Oh yes, little boy answered. She said she found the same house when she was just my age, so I know it's real. The police officer said, Sorry, I can't help you, buddy. I have got to be getting back to my street patrol. Waving goodbye, she drove off down the road. The little boy was getting discouraged. His mother said he wouldn't even need to cross the street, but no matter how hard he looked, he could not find the house he was looking for. There was just one more house to check, and that was Mr. Fetzer's house at the end of the block. Mr. Fetzer had lived in the neighborhood longer than anyone. Years and years ago, there were many farms in Bridgewater, but one by one, the land had been sold and houses were built where there had once been fields of Jersey tomatoes and white corn. Mr. Fetzer's farm was the last one left in the neighborhood. He ran a small farm stand and sold the fresh fruits and vegetables he grew in his gardens and orchard. If anyone knows where that house is, he should. The little boy reasoned. So up he trudged to Mr. Fetzer's barn and peered inside. There was the farmer packing apples in the boxes. He looked up. Why, hello there, young fellow. What can I do for you? Come for a taste of my apple cider. He poured a cup and handed to the little boy. The little boy drank it down gratefully. Hunting for houses was thirsty work. The cider tasted sweet and tart all at the same time. Thanks for the cider, the little boy said. Mr. Fetzer, can you help me? I am looking for a house. It's a little round red house with no windows and no doors, a chimney on top and a star in the middle. My mother says you have lived here longer than anybody, and she found the houses when she was my age, so I thought you might know where it is. Mr. Fetzer smiled. Seems to me I remember your mother when she was just a little girl. Seems to me she came to find me on a day just like today. Seems to me that she was looking for a house too just like the one you have described, and seems to me I knew just where to send her. The farmer walked outside and pointed to his orchard up a little hill. See those trees? Run up there and take a look around, and I think you will find what you are looking for. The little boy ran across the field and up the hill. He stood under one of the apple trees and looked all around. The wind was blowing a dancing breeze, and it blew a red apple right off the tree. Tang! The apple landed at his feet. Picking it up, the little boy took a closer look. A little round red house with no windows and no doors, he said, turning it and looking at its shiny round red surface. A chimney on top, he said, touching the stem, a star in the middle. He put the apple in his raincoat pocket and ran all the way home. Mom, Mom, he cried. I think I found it. His mother smiled when he took apple out of his pocket and handed it to her. I think you did too, she said. A little round red house with no windows and no doors and a chimney on top. But where's the star? He asked. She picked up a sharp knife from the table, placing the apple on its side on a plate, and she cut it in half right through its middle, and there in the center was a star. Oh, how wonderful! There inside the apple lay a star holding 5 brown seeds. It's too wonderful to eat without looking at the star, isn't it? The little boy said to his mother. Yes, indeed, answered his mother.